Recorded live with little or no editing. It's defense up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Broxman's defense. We're having a little bit of fun in chat. I just roasted Crofty, and he's all over the place, telling me how bad I am at reviewing his defense. I think I might have roasted him a little too thoroughly. Okay, so we grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISO 8s, and what kind of mood I'm in. Team number 1 for Broxman is the Hydra 1.0. Now, we went over Broxman's defense a couple months back, so we're going to see if he's actually made the improvements that we need him to make. Not to mention, the game's changed so much already since then and now that those changes might not even be valid anymore. So with team number 1, we've got the Hydra Minions 1.0, standard ass, vanilla, plain, boring. Snooze through this team. It's a power level that nobody even cares about. This is a nothing team. It's pretty horrible. Here's what we can do to make it better. You can put Zemo in here. That's right. Take out Scientist and put Zemo in here. Then you're probably going to want to swap places with Trooper and Red Skull, I think. Yeah, something like that. That'll make it super tough if Zemo's in there. Red Skull's still going to be pretty tough. Then go ahead and put Fortifier on everybody in here. This healer ISO is pretty garbage. The team, the way the mechanics work, they just die and get revived all the time. And it's better to have that 10 to 30% barrier on revive than a rejuve that never actually happens, you know? All you're going to be doing is making sure that there's positive effects above them in case somebody brings in a power armor and uses Falcon's speed up maneuvers. So, excuse me. Go ahead and put a little more juice into your Red Skull. He's a really good character. You could bring him up quite a ways and get some use out of him in other game modes, in other areas. Well, not so much other game modes, but like in War Offense, you could use him and stuff. He's a good kind of character for those advanced Hydra teams. But yeah, I'd put some juice into him. Bring up the rest of the team. Just get the stars on them at the very least. Get the stars on all these guys. That's something you can do that'll really help this team out. Get its power level up to like 250. Then people actually have to think about their response. They're either going to have to punch kind of down with a power armor or come in with a really big junk team that'll just out-sustain it. Or they're going to have to bring in a Black Bolt, some sort of a Black Bolt team. Or they could bring in Surfer, but no one's going to waste Surfer on anything other than like a 500 level Heroes for Hire, other than a 500 Hydra team. So get Zemo in there, bring up the power levels. You could tweak the placement a little bit. Definitely change those ISOs to Fortifier. That's going to help you out a lot. Get that power level up over 250 so that this team is competent. Oh, you want a grade for this? I don't know. I'm thinking like a C-. It's not very good. It's not very good at all. Here we go. Standard ass Doc Ock team. Okay, the thing I see wrong is that you've got too many strikers, not enough skirmishers or raiders. Skirmisher here is fine. You need to change one of these guys to a skirmisher, one of them to a raider. Take your pick. It doesn't matter so much. They're basic. Doesn't do, I would probably do, I think Swarm is the better striker. If you're gonna go with striker, Swarm is the better one, I think. And then, but I would do Raider and Skirmisher, something like that. Okay, and then your placement's good. The other ISOs are okay. Yeah, it's all right. The team's not really worth investing anymore in because it's kind of a dead team. It's on the way out. You don't want to put any more resources into it. Your Doc Ock, you can take him up because he's still got uses in other game modes. So, you know, max out Doc Ock. The rest of it, kind of leave it. Just tweak those ISOs. I'm going to give you a B for this team. Here is the Mercs with Shuri. This is arguably the best build for Mercs. I just recently switched out Shuri for Korath the Pursuer to see if I can bring up the damage output and get just one defensive victory, stumble somebody up. But I went with Shuri for a really long time, and I suggest to other people that they go with Shuri also. Doing other stuff is kind of a dangerous test. Let's see, though. You've got Skirmisher on Taskmaster. That is correct. You've got Striker on everybody else. I really like that. That's really good. The only thing you're doing wrong is you need to swap placement with Taskmaster and Riot Guard. Riot Guard needs to be in between people. He puts deflects on adjacent characters. There's only one person adjacent to him right now. And then, yeah, and then Taskmaster on the outside because he doesn't do anything adjacent to anybody. So just put him out there. So yeah, swap your placement. You might bring up the power level of your Merc Lieutenant a little bit. Actually, just get the stars on these guys. Yeah, just get all the stars on these guys. You'll be doing fine. Swap placement, get the stars on them. It's a good looking team. I'm going to give you a B for that. Wave 1 Avengers, swapping out that Black Widow for Sif. Now, Sif is something people are doing because she has synergy with Thor. However, I don't really like her. I like Black Widow in here. I don't run Skilletary. I just don't have the team built up and I don't have the resources to build them up. So if you're a big Skilletary fan, go nuts, man. I just kind of like Captain Marvel as a replacement here because she's an Avenger, so she has the synergy with Hulk and Thor also. But with Sif here, this kind of stumbles up that supernatural team that comes in here and tries to stun Hulk. You still have 2 tanks kind of drawing that off, so it could work. Plus, you have a pretty heavy investment in Sif, and I know you want to get some use out of her, so I think it's a good pick for your roster. I like that. Healer. We got Stryker on Hulk. I'd rather Raider on Hulk if you're not going to do Healer. I think Healer should be on Hulk because he's got a pretty big health bar, but he is going kind of slow and doesn't pop off as much anymore because he gets stunned and just sits there like a lump on a log. Raider on Thor is good, and you're not running Black Widow, so it doesn't matter what you put. I guess Raider on Hawkeye is probably the appropriate thing. If you're running Black Widow, it should be a Striker Skirmisher combo with those two. But actually, without Black Widow, Raider is a good choice. You could also do Skirmisher on him, and it's still pretty good because he clears stuff. He does things like that. Yeah, because you've only got Hulk as a striker. Yeah, that's probably good being a striker. With this setup, I think this is good. You need to have somebody out there as a striker. So, all right, I kind of like it. I think your placement needs some work. I think you should swap places with Thor and Hulk is the easiest way to explain it. Yeah, swap places with Thor and Hulk. I'm gonna give you a B for the team. I think you're thinking about it. It looks like you're trying really hard and you're thinking about it. And even a B plus maybe. No, a B. You need more power in these guys. Star them out, farm them up, get them starred out so that their power levels are higher, and get some more power into Hulk too. At least give him a chance to resist that stun. Yeah, I'll give you a B for that team. Team number 5 is Black Order. You've got some interesting ISOs on this team. I definitely think the married couple, Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, they need to be a Striker Skirmisher combo. Your choice on who gets what. I prefer for defense that Corvus Glaive gets the Striker and Proxima Midnight gets the Skirmisher. But on offense, I like it the other way around because she's faster and I'm getting more turns out of her as a Striker. So that's okay. These are interesting picks for Thanos and Cull Obsidian. There is no wrong pick for Thanos. He is one of the few characters in the game that you can do any of the 5 ISOs, and there's a case to be made for it, so Striker's fine. I prefer him as like a Raider or a Healer. He used to have one of the biggest health bars in the game, pre-Surfer. Cull Obsidian as a Striker is also very interesting. I kind of like him as a Raider. I think if you switch these two, you should put Cull Obsidian as a Raider, but here's what it is. Get the stars on this team as well. Your ISOs aren't horrible. They're just not optimal. Placement is fine. Yeah, I'll give you a B for this team. I think honestly, just a little more power in this team would make them more formidable. All right, team number 6, Marauders, a classic build. Perfect. A, good job. Did it just right. It's exactly what you want. For the classic build, that is exactly right. You did an A. Nice job. Team number 7, Inhuman hybrid with Ghost instead of Coulson. I like Coulson here better. I don't think Ghost has much synergy with this team. All she's doing is prolonging any negative effects that Crystal might put out there. And Crystal isn't putting out a lot of stuff. I think just some slows, maybe some offense down. I can't even remember. Crystal isn't that great of a character. So I don't really pay much attention to her anymore. This is actually a pretty good team. If you're not, if you don't have a big Coulson to put on here, then Ghost is a good fill-in character. Ghost is a plug-and-play character. It's just there's no synergy with Ghost on this team. The synergy with Coulson is pretty epic. That opening move, blowing people up, it gets some damage done. But there's something to be said about this. Like, people are gonna kind of fear this Ghost because she's so dodgy. But I just like Coulson. So Striker, healer. Ooh, healer on Surfer. I'm digging the healer on Surfer for defense. I think that makes him just really challenging. He's so fast. Those rejuves are happening on him. He's getting use out of them. He's putting them on other people a lot. He's putting them on himself. He's healing himself that much more. I think it's a cool thing to do. I like that on this team. If this team does get one defensive victory, there's a chance that they might get a second defensive victory just because he's putting out so much health. That's pretty good. Skirmisher on her is good. You might want to take her to level 5 Skirmisher now that they opened the floodgates on those ISOs. Get that focus boost on her so you make sure that the offense down is always sticking. And then Crystal is Crystal. Okay. Bring up the power level of these two. Maybe just make sure they're at gear tier level 12. Get the stars on them like the rest of your roster. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to give you an A- for this. I think Coulson's a better pick here. Otherwise, you're doing good. Team number 8. Heroes for hire again. Okay, we've got what? Looks okay. I think technically, aren't we supposed to swap places with Colleen Wing and JJ? Technically, I think that's the technical right swapping places there. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't really care about this team. All I care is that I can beat 3 of them in every war. They're actually a fantastic team, but you got to scale them up. You got to put the T4s into them. You got to put the gear into them. And once they get up to that high level, then it's like it's Infinity Watch or it's not. You're not going to get through it. So at the lower levels, it's totally meh. So this is, if you're going to invest in one of your defenses, this is probably the place to invest. It is a war defense team, and war sucks. It's not valuable. Nobody cares about war. It's all about raids right now. If they change some sort of a payout system, hey, Scopely, listen up. If they change the payout system to reward things like some blue ISOs for winning in war or something like that, then, you know, maybe, what if you got defensive victories? Every defensive victory, you got like a little bit of blue ISO. Wouldn't that be amazing? Suddenly, my job would be important and people would come and watch me. Whatever. Okay, back to the actual stuff at hand. I think we're switching Luke Cage to Fortifier anymore. He's so slow, he's not giving out those heals, but he is dying and respawning, and when he dies and respawns with Fortifier, he respawns with some 10, 20, 30 barrier, something like that. So I think you should definitely go with barrier on Luke Cage. You could consider it for Iron Fist. Same kind of thing, except he does have some passive healing thing that gets a boost, and it does take an effect on the team. So maybe keep him as healer. JJ should definitely be a Fortifier. A lot of people are going to go into her hard and fast to make that person go away. She gives that resistance to the team so that Surfer can't strip charges. So she's a good pick if you're in a room that isn't defense down. If you're in a defense down room, Kestrel's kind of the way to go as a 5th on this team. I like Kestrel on offense, though. So I just make sure that my alliance leader doesn't put me in a defense down room. All right, and then Colleen Wing is a striker. Misty Knight is a skirmisher. That is correct. As soon as they become farmable, you should get the stars on them. You might go ahead and bring up the ISOs. Like, you know, taking people to level 5 ISO isn't such a big deal anymore, especially with the Heroes for Hire tag being used in raids now. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more content for some of these characters to partake in instead of just, what is it, the Gamma raid or something that's coming up? Maybe it's beta. I don't know. One of those raids. They got a tag in it. It is what it is. You're doing good. Tweak your placement a little bit. Tweak those ISOs a little bit. Bring up the overall power level of the team. Make sure they got the right T4s in it if you want this to be a viable defense. For now, it is a B-. But, yeah, I like what you're doing. It was a good roster. I appreciate you letting me review it. If you like what you saw, please hit like, hit subscribe for more of these videos. I try to put out 2 every week. There's going to be a lot more content coming out soon as I am moving my studio into my house so that I will have more time to stream and make videos. You can catch me on Twitch every Thursday doing Marvel Strike Force from 9 to noon Pacific time. And remember, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourself and others too. I'll see you next time. Bye.